Texas season preview time. It feels like everything has led to this. I know there's a lot of guys headed to the draft, and you got new starters here or there, but really, if you think about what Steve Sarkisian and this staff have been building towards, it's led to this year. He said that when we visited with him in the spring. Think about Nick Saban at Alabama. Like, they won a national title in 2009, but really it wasn't until the early 2010s, 2010, 11, and beyond, when the entire roster is nothing but his guys. Georgia, they went to play for a national title in 2017, but it really wasn't until the late 2010s and then obviously 2020 and beyond when it was just fully Kirby's team, full staff, full roster. Well, that's Texas now. Texas has done some stuff so far, but now it's fully Sark's guys, Sark's team. There's not a whiff of anyone else's influence. It's all Steve Sarkisian. And they're loaded, and they got the horses to win it all. Right now, their over-under win total is 9.5. They got the best odds to win the national title, best odds to win the SEC. So what are the questions? Because if I just describe that to you, it may sound like there aren't many. There are. It's just the nature of college football these days. So easily, Arch Manning's the biggest question here. He could be the Heisman winner, but right now, you've got like different paths the season could go down. So there's one path where he's a star, like he's just elite. You're probably looking at your national championship team if that's the case. There's another possibility, probably more likely, that he's just a plus player. He's pretty good to really good, which you could still win a national title with. And then there's the third route, and I don't know if this is more likely. The middle option's probably more likely, but what if he's just serviceable? There's some inconsistency, you got turnover issues, just the normal stuff you would deal with from a year one player. What can Texas do if that third option ends up being reality? And then I want you to think about this. A first-year player, yeah, we've known him 6 years now because Arch Manning was a household name by the time he was a sophomore in high school. Even people who didn't watch college football knew of Arch Manning. Sophomore, junior, senior year in high school, he is now in his third year at Texas. And after half a decade of knowing him and having an opinion on him, which everyone seems to do, only now is he going to start. My advice would be take all that time, all that 6 years, be willing to throw all that in the garbage over the span of like the first 6 quarters, because now you're really seeing him as the full-time starter at Texas. So whatever the past 5 or 6 years were, take all that. I'm not saying throw it away. Be willing to part with it, because you're about to see Arch Manning actually be the starter, whereas in the past you've just talked about hypothetically what he would be in the future once he's the starter. Will this wide receiver room be dynamic enough? It's Texas. It's Steve Sarkisian, so I'm going to take it for granted. But Ryan Wingo could be a baller. He really already is, but could be one this year. Should be 1,000+ yard guy. But I wonder, is it him? And then a lot of complementary type stat profiles where you got a 430-yard receiver here, 520 there, but Wingo's like, 1,200, 1,300. Or is it a whole room full of guys 700 yards and above, and they just distributed the ball effectively? Because that tight end room also is in its post-Gunnar Helm era. Remember that. And thirdly, let me cut in really quick and ask, look, prayer hands, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure. Over 50% of you aren't. It's free, it doesn't sign you up for anything, and it helps us keep the show free, college football year-round, the way God intended it. All right, back to the clip. Does the overall caliber of this team level up? And that means everyone. So last year, Texas went to the SEC championship game. They went to the playoff. They won a game in the playoff. But ultimately, if you wanted to be, a negative Sark hater, just eternal pessimist, you could say, yeah, but I mean, all the big games they lost. They got 2 shots at Georgia, they lost. They got in the playoff and got a shot at Ohio State and they lost. And okay, you can say that, but even if you disagree with that sentiment, point is they're going to have to win those games this year. Is it a level up opportunity? Well, it is an opportunity. Is it a level up moment for the profile of that organization, of that program? Like, are they better than fill in the blank. Are they good enough to go into Gainesville, into Athens, and just establish themselves on the road? Go to Atlanta, win the SEC and beyond. Who's the best position group on this team? It's got to be the edge. I mean, probably the best pass rush in the country. Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Ethan Burke, just guys, again, that you're waiting for, and you know you got them in the chamber, and if they're healthy, how do you defend it? Well, you most of them can't. Those are game wreckers, and that's the kind of pass rush where it's Arch Manning's best friend. It's the kind of pass rush that if you don't have your act together, they just give you another shot. You just went 3 and out, you punted, oh, look, we got the ball at their 36, like 3 minutes later. Wow. So, I mean, Anthony Hill's very flexible because of what Moore and Burke are able to provide them. It's a really, really, really effective pass rush, sort of an embarrassment of riches type situation. The breakout player on this team I got is Ryan Wingo. Texas fans will listen to that and say, but he's already pretty established. Yeah, to you he is. To the country, he is not. He was a 472-yard guy last year. I expect him over 1,000 yards this year. Now, I would caution you. When you hear that, you say, oh, wow, if he's going to do that, let's go see what his Heisman odds are. He's plus 40,000 to win the Heisman. Here's the problem. There is no world where he racks up all those receiving yards without Arch Manning being the one throwing it to him. And if that's happening, you know good and well who the Heisman juice is going to. So that's a fool's errand to shop Ryan Wingo's name on the Heisman market. But I just think about what Steve Sarkisian did with Devontae Smith, and I always look at any Texas roster like, who's that guy that he really could feature if he wants to? Well, by 10 miles, it's Wingo this year. The schedule is deceptively tough. Like, it's only the 12th toughest schedule in the SEC, according to our metrics. Having said that, at Ohio State, at Georgia, at Florida, and Oklahoma in a neutral is not easy. That's not easy at all. Now, they will be favored in some of those games, maybe short favorite, but they'll be favored in some of those games. They're a short underdog at Ohio State. So they could win all of them, they could lose all of them, but just going on the road, that's not an easy slate there. And therefore, when they get to the Red River Shootout against Oklahoma, what is their record? There's a world where they're undefeated. There's a world where they already get 2 losses. And can you imagine that? 2-loss Texas in early October against OU in Dallas. So we got to see what they're like on the road. You're taking a first-time starter at quarterback on the road. It's not easy. I don't care what your last name is. The best case, according to the model for Texas, however, is still 12-0. The model respects the Texas talent acquisition mechanism so much. It appreciates the caliber of this coaching staff so much. 12-0 best case. The worst case the model spits out for Texas is 7-5, and it's got him at 10-2, that's pretty reasonable. 10-2, the most likely record according to the model here for Texas and Sark. That gets you in the playoff. It may get you to Atlanta. Who knows? But at the very least, that gives you another shot at hopefully winning a national championship.